Education is said to be the thing that's going to set us free and set us up for a good career and a good job. And no form of education is going to be more meaningful than university. Or so we are told. A lot of people now are buying into the fact that a lot of university degrees are fairly useless and they're not going to get you anywhere further in your career or in life. Even with that being said, a lot of people still choose to go to university. Perhaps because they're missold, they're told an idea which is simply not true anymore, or perhaps parental pressures, or perhaps the genuine belief that they are going to achieve something good with their degree. It still can be done with a degree from the right university in the right grade, in the right field. However, a lot of university degrees are kind of useless. The main thing that I want to speak about here is not the university degree itself. That's something that I've spoken about in extensive detail before, as somebody who's done a degree myself. I want to speak about the university experience, because this is arguably something more powerful than the degree. If there's one thing that could be worth the money or the time, it's not the degree, in my opinion. It's actually the experience. For a lot of people, especially if they go at age 18, it could be the first time living away from home. It could be the first time mixing with large groups of people. It could be the large time, going out and drinking, socializing with new people. It really is an exciting time. However, that depends what you do with it, and it depends what your idea of excitement is. For a lot of people that I have known and have been on my course with, a degree has just been an excuse for 3 years of drinking, partying, and general bad behaviour. It's not that bad in the sense that it's a choice, but I think everybody can acknowledge this trend. This trend where a lot of people, and it is more people than many may realise, they're not necessarily living university in the way that their parents might think. When I think of what a good university experience might be like, it might be you join a couple of clubs, you join a couple of societies, you may live with housemates, you may not, your choice, right? But basically you're having fun, you're socialising, and you're doing good activities which will build you as a person. But so many people these days, I don't think it is just a these days thing, but as more people go to university, the issue does become more prevalent. So many people use this as a 3, 4, 5, 6 year partying experience, right? And an escapism experience too. The thing about university is, in a lot of degrees, in a lot of fields, it doesn't give you actual experience. I'll give you the example of me. I did a business degree. I didn't really learn anything about business at all. I learned about theory, and I learned about how to become an employee, right? I didn't even really learn about management. I didn't really learn about taxes, not really any of that sort of stuff. Just a couple of theories and, reflect on how this would make you a good employee. Well, if we wanted to be employees, we probably wouldn't have done a business management or business degree, right? We want to be managers, owners, entrepreneurs, so on and so forth. But that's just one field. So besides the actual degree itself, so many people are spending this time literally partying, drinking, and escaping what they could be doing. Because in that 3 years, let's say, where you could have been building a business, you could have been building skills, you're actually partying and drinking. Not only does this take away from your concentration on your subject, it can have negative detrimental effects for your life, including health, including the actual grade that you get, and so many different things. It's really quite interesting how the university opinion is now, because people don't really go there to study, not that many people. I'm not saying people don't study, I'm not saying people don't still get good grades, but people pass regardless of what they do. When I was studying my degree, a pass mark was 40%. That's less than half of the questions. That's even easier than school. 40% is a pass mark. Is a 2 or a third, I think it is, it's a third. It's not a good grade. But you can get 60% of the questions wrong, and you can pass your degree. Think about that for a second. You can get 60% of your questions wrong, and you can still get a degree. I think it is something like 50% of questions wrong, and you get a 2-2. Something like 60% right, so 40% wrong, you can get a 2-1. Something like that. My numbers might be slightly off, but it's not far off. So the grades are proportionally easier, and the things that people do don't better themselves. University isn't really the experience that it may have once been. It's less academic, more social. That's not a bad thing in itself, because we need to build bonds. and that's what life is about. But even then, people just mess about, people just drink, people just go party and take drugs. And people can say in the comment section, it doesn't happen. It does happen, guys. It does happen. I don't even drink. I don't drink. I don't take drugs. I don't really even go partying very much at all. And even when I do, I don't drink. Because when I'm out with my friends, we can have fun whether we are drunk. We can have fun whether we are sober. So why drink then? If we can have as much fun sober, why drink? I've got a funny story about when I went to one of my friend's houses one time. This was in a university accommodation. And there was like, I think 4 or 5 of us. I think it was 2 guys and maybe 3 girls. And we were out with these 3 girls, all housemates, right? And they were all drinking, and we weren't. And we were out that long, talking and laughing and doing stuff, right? Walking, all different sorts of stuff at night, you know. We're young, why not? You know what I mean? But we were up whilst they had gone to bed. That's how long extra we were up. They were all asleep in bed. They'd been out. They'd been partying. We were still talking. What's my point here? Oh yeah, so I don't need to get drunk. I tell so many stories, guys. I like telling you my stories, okay? I like telling you my stories. I don't need to get drunk to have fun. I never have. I don't think I ever will. It's not... I don't like alcoholism at all. It really doesn't gel with me on a personal level. Then we got drugs, right? And that is ever so prevalent in universities, in partying circles in general. And you see it all the time. It's such a shame, you know, young kids, and that's what they are, really. Really, they are. 18, yes, they're an adult, but what life experience do 18-year-olds have these days? Not much. 18. It's so funny, guys, because I'm 21. I'm 22 this year. And I know a lot of you guys are like 50, 60, even 30. And you think I've got no experience. I agree. The biggest thing that I've learned over the last 5 to 6 years is you don't know what you don't know. And when you're young, you don't know anything. The difference that I've got between being 22 and being 18 is huge. So these young kids, they get drunk, they get high on drugs. They mess about, and they don't learn what they're supposed to learn. They don't learn the principles of, or they do to an extent, but the principles of life management. It's just all craziness when you go to a lot of these university situations. It really is promoting a negative culture, and it's quite interesting because I think, would I want my kids to go to university? Now, it very much depends on the person. There's genuine people I know who went to university, and to a degree, I was one of them myself, but I did go on a lot of party nights. I never really drunk. I certainly didn't take drugs. It's not something that I do. But, yeah, to a degree, I joined all the clubs. I joined some of the societies. I met some good friends. Some of my good friends now, one of my best friends, if not my best friend, someone who I met from university. Can I complain? No. But, at the same time, I think about whether I'd want my kids to go. They could have a good experience like that, but it can be really, really sketchy as well. And I don't think a lot of parents know what it's like. Because a lot of people's parents my age, they're going to be in their 40s, they're going to be in their 50s. They went to university in the maybe late 80s, early 90s, arguably 2000s at a push. It was a different time. It was a different time. I'm not saying people didn't go off like that then, but the things that you see, you know, on student nights out that I've been on, this is from being a student. The way students go off, it's crazy. And university as a whole is 3 years or more of messing about. And I've done the 3 years, right? Did I mess about? To a degree, I did. Did I grow as a person? Definitely I did. Was it worth it? Financially, no. Time-wise, yes. Would I do it again? I'm not sure. I'd need to think about that question a lot more. But what's my point here? Because I always like to conclude on a point if I've got one, and I do have one here. The university experience is kind of crazy. And a lot of people are down for the idea of, you know, you're young, you're dumb, but, you know, guys, you can make mistakes which can influence you for the rest of your life. You really can. You can really mess up. You can get alcohol poisoned, spiked. You can get any sort of horrible stuff can happen. And in that time where you're partying and not growing as an individual, you're missing out on a few things. And this is where it gets interesting, because I know people who went down the university route. They're financially worse off than people who just, you know, got a basic job in a shop. And you might say, well, that's not true, but think about it. Students, 3 years of debt. Employees, 3 years of pay. Students, no real skills gained. I mean, you get a degree. Everyone's got one. No real skills gained. Employees, 3 years of experience. I know people who, by the time and age they'd have completed a degree, were working as a manager in a shop or an office. That's not as uncommon as people think either, because I've known multiple people like that. A degree is what everyone's got. And if you want to make as much money as possible, maybe I'm wrong, I'd personally throw myself in at the deep end, get a job, and try and build extra skills. You've got 3 years. And that's just when everybody else is going to be on your same level, if not worse, or maybe slightly better. So yeah, I think building an income, a skill, a job, and income skills might even be better these days than a degree, because everyone's got a degree. It doesn't mean anything. You know, back in the 80s or 70s, it might have meant something. It doesn't mean anything now. Everyone's got one. Everyone's got one. Everyone's got one. And that is a very important point to note. So how much does it then mean? If everybody has something, how valuable is it anymore? Now, if there is one thing that I would say from a degree, and perhaps something that I wouldn't have known about otherwise, and I think same is true with everybody, but their personality is going to be a unique blend of what's brought them to this point, right? Their experiences is going to be a unique blend of their personality, so I can't complain about everything or anything, but if I didn't go to university, would I have built the businesses I've built? Would I have built the skills I've built? And I mean that outside of a degree. Would I have built the life skills, the social skills, the interpersonal skills? Would I have had the relationships? Obviously not. Some of those relationships I wouldn't have had. Some of those friendships I wouldn't have had. Obviously I wouldn't have, because I met them in university. But would I have had better ones? You can never answer that question. That could be a long point. And I'm kind of going off my point here. But university can be a crazy time, guys. And my question is, when did university change? When did it change from being somewhere that people go for self-betterment, self-improvement, career development, to being something that people just do for partying? Was it when free loans came out? Well, I guess not, because university used to be free before that. Was it when it became a societal norm rather than an exception? You guys can maybe answer. I know a lot of my viewers are a lot older. I don't know if this video was any good. I don't know if it made sense. Sometimes I just film a video and say what I think, say what I want to say. That's what this channel is, right? This is my thoughts and opinions channel, nothing else. So I've just said what I wanted to say. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give me a like and subscribe, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.